Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mackie and I hope you're all having a great day today. We are joined back here for another Tiny Home Tuesday. Benny! Oh my god. What is he doing over there? That's literally my dog just walking around the street. Hold on. Benny! Benny! Come here. Come on. What are you doing? Go, hey, Benny, in here. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is the no dog area back here. Benny, what? Oh. If you are new here, I've been building this tiny home in my backyard. So this week we are going to be roofing the entire tiny home and finishing all that stuff up. So I'm excited for that because a rain is coming and then the whole house is gonna be secure, which is nice. So yeah, in this video we're just gonna be doing the roofing and basically finishing up the exterior so we can start on the interior, which I'm super excited about. I'm not gonna talk that much. Let's just get straight into the tiny home build.
Nope. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. We're gonna go right about there.
Okay.
We just want to go up a little bit.
Okay.
We'll cut this right here.
The first step was to install the rear drip edge, and this one sits directly right up against the plywood where all the other sides are going to be laying on top of the felt. This way the water just drains easier without touching the wood, so I just went ahead, took my nail gun and shot some nails down into it. Once the first piece of drip edge was secured, it was time to start rolling out the felt. So all we did was roll it across, and then my dad pulled out all the slack while I went back with a hammer tacker and secured it down into place. Once it got to the edge of the house, he went ahead and just sliced it so it was nice and flush against the edge. And once again, I came back around with the hammer tacker and just stapled it down. We obviously just repeated this process over and over again, and it was burning hot up there, and this hot felt didn't make it any easier, but we got the job done eventually. And there's Dirty Mike wanting to say hi to the camera any chance he could get. We overlapped the felt on top of the previous by about 12 to 19 inches. It is hard for me to tell, but I just took direction from my dad and just did whatever he said because he's been doing this for 40 years, so I didn't question it. But it is nice because there's markers on the felt to show you where you should be laying it down so everything remains nice and straight. We just continued this process until we reached the front of the tiny house, and then we stopped there and called it a day. Okay, so yesterday we put all the felt up there on the roof, so that's done, and now we're gonna start putting the drip edge on and the shingles. But we actually put the back drip edge, so as you can see the slanted, that's the back of the roof. We put the drip edge down on the back of the roof before putting the felt on, and the rest of the drip edge we're gonna put on right now on top of the felt, just because the angle of the roof, since it's sticking up in the air like that, the drip edge goes over the felt so the water can't drip underneath the felt. Where at the back of the house, you want to make sure if any water does get underneath it, it can roll off of it, instead of the drip edge being on top of the felt at the back, and then the water would just go underneath that and get on the wood. So this way, if water does get in, it has an exit down the back and it's not going to be touching any wood. So that is the reasoning for that. So we're gonna go ahead, hop up there, and start doing that right now. So now that we had the felt all laid down, it is time to install the remainder of the drip edge on the sides and front of the tiny house, and it's just the exact same process from yesterday, except this time it's actually on top of the felt. Here you can see how my dad was cutting the drip edge so that it forms a perfect corner and everything is nice and waterproof.
Cut that edge. Cut this little lip. And it forms the perfect V.
Okay. Then whenever a new piece of drip edge would start, we'd overlap it about 6 inches onto the previous piece of drip edge.
Metal's all on. Now we need composition.
Once all the drip edge was in place, it was time to start installing the shingles. So here my dad is just cutting some sheets of shingles in half to use this little end piece, kind of like a base layer that lines around the entire roof. And that created about an inch long overhang for where the shingles are going to be sitting on the edges of the roof.
Grab it now and you put it like this. Because you can't get it like this. Okay. Put forward. Up. Yep, like that. Okay.
So here I'm just preparing the base layer of all the shingles. So this is at the back end of the roof, and then I just went along the edge of the roof and put that base layer all the way around the perimeter. And once all of these were down in place, it was time to start cutting the shingles to make that staggering pattern of 6 rows.
Okay.
So once my dad had cut out all the first shingles we needed to start on the pattern, I just went ahead and started nailing them down into place. And you can see it starts as a full sheet of shingles and moves all the way down to just a little piece until it reaches the edge. What the format should look like for the rest of the roof. So once we had our first pattern of 6 shingles down, it was time to start filling in the gaps. So at this point, you just take the full sheets of shingles and start lining it up against the edge of that diagonal pattern moving upward. So as you can see, I'm just taking the full sheets and pushing it right up against that edge from the previous shingle, just making my way up towards the top of the roof, just meeting all the edges in between. And basically I just did this over and over again until eventually it meets up with the edge of the roof once again, and then you basically just start this exact same process all over again. So we just worked on that until we decided to call it a day, and I went surfing, and then we were going to resume the following day. The next day, we just continued this exact same process over and over again, just moving up towards the roof. We'd hit the edge, go back down to the corner, and start again until we met with the edge once more. And like I said, I just did this over and over again, and it got repetitive and boring. And for anyone wondering, this is how we got all the roofing material up onto the roof. My dad would go down, pick it up, pull it up the ladder, and all I would do is pick it up off his shoulder and drop it down. So big shout out to him for doing that. Once I finally hit the top of the roof, I went ahead and put on that base layer and then just finished off that last little patch I needed of the cut shingles, and then it was time to put on the finishing touches. And this was just full sheets of shingles going all the way across. And then we were nearing the end and I was putting on the last and final row of shingles. And the very last shingles we needed, my dad went ahead and cut them in half once again. So as you can see, it's just the shingle part that sits at the very top. And then I just took the last of my nails and finished it up.
She is. Finished your Mac?
Yep.
Nice job.
And that is where the video wraps up with the completed roof and the completed exterior of the tiny home. Well, the exterior is not completely completed. I just have to put the shiplap right up there. And I'm gonna go grab that. I only need like 4 pieces of shiplap, so I'm gonna go grab that today and finish that off. And then we're gonna start on the electrical wiring. My mom has a couple guys she's been working with forever since she's a realtor. So they're gonna come over and pretty much help me with the electrical, just because that's something you don't want to mess with if you're new to all this. So they're gonna probably help me through it. Other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy this roofing video. Once again, as always, comment down below if you have any questions regarding any of this and I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. It is honestly a lot of fun roofing. My dad actually owned a roofing company for 40 years. He's been doing it since he was 15 years old because his dad owned a roofing company. So it kind of runs in the family. So this is the first time I've ever done anything with a roof. So it was actually fun seeing what he's done his entire life. And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. And also I post these tiny home videos on my TikTok every single day, so that's linked right down there. My TikTok is just Mackie Albertson, so go check that out because there's tiny home updates every day. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.